आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियां।
Today, we're unraveling the rich tapestry of the ARIES Institute, an epicenter of innovation and discovery, with the director of the institute, who also takes us through the journey of ARIES' history, vision, and mission. Join us as we explore the legendary paths forged by our scientists and the profound impact they have on humanity's future.
Yeah, hello. I am Manish Kumar Naja, and I am director here at ARIES. And of course, I have taken over just few months back. And previously, I was scientist here. So now I'm now taking care of this institute. So if you say history, of course, now presently it is in the Department of Science and Technology Autonomous Institute, and it is taken over by DST in 2004. But our history goes back to almost 70 years back. Like it started basically under the state government. At that time it was in Uttar Pradesh government. So setup was made in the Banaras, and in 1954. And for that time when Dr. Sampurnanand, he basically took very sincere initiative, and he was very keen in the popularization of science, and so he started that activity. Of course, it is realized, because that time this was astronomical institute. So it was realized that Banaras is a not good place for such kind of observation institute because of the pollution. So then they subsequently moved here in Nainital. So of course in 1954 it was decided that it has to move, and then basically it moved to Nainital town first, and then again in Nainital town there is light pollution. So then subsequently it came to here this Manora peak, which is almost you can say 6 kilometers away from the Nainital. So because we are at the height of almost 2000 meter, so it is and away from the pollution, light pollution from the city. So it was decided to put it here. So it is set up in 1964, and then story started here, like in the science, like first telescope we call the 1 meter telescope. It was established in 1972. So because the institute was basically, I will say, started by the Dr. Sampurnanand. He was also Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh that time. So we gave the name of this telescope Sampurnanand telescope. And I will tell you now, this telescope, which we call the 1 meter telescope, established in 1972, until now, it is basically the only longest serving telescope which is still giving the very good scientific output. So it is, of course, recently we completed 70 years. So we made the one functional where the governor also came for the program. So this is the one major thing. Of course, with this telescope, and we have a lot of discoveries. Like first observations of Uranus ring was also made. First observations of the photovoltaic, photoelectric, the observations for the star was made for the first time. Now, of course, then subsequently time passed on, the new setup was made, and in 2004, as I mentioned, taken over by the DST. In between, for few years, it was under the Uttarakhand state government, then taken over by the DST. And then, because when we have the state government, there was some limitation of the funds. Now, with the central government, now that is now many projects of the international importance are coming up. Subsequently, we are adding up the facility. Like also, I was mentioning the atmospheric science was also added in 2004. So we have the startup of the different facility, like one of the radar, indigenously developed radar was set up. Then apart from this 1 meter, we have set up other telescope in another campus we call Devasthal, which is almost 60 kilometer away from here, and altitude of Devasthal is almost 2.5 kilometer. So further height, why? Because in this Nainital also they started seeing the influence of the light pollution. So we wanted to go further up. Of course, the site survey for Devasthal location was also done long back, and then but ultimately it was identified. So in Devasthal, first another telescope we call the 1.3 meter was set up in 2010. Then another the it used to be Asia's largest telescope, now India's largest telescope, we call the 3.6 meter telescope. So that is established in 2016, that is also in the Devastal. So that is the one major facility, now national facility. Then another telescope set up in Devastal as 4 meter, we call the IMT, International Liquid Mirror, because we are using the mercury as a reflecting phase. So that is also one test. So we have the two telescope of the 4 meter class. We have 4 meter class means like one is 3.6 and 4 meter. So those telescopes are there. So these facilities are there, and also in 2019 we established the ST radar, totally indigenously developed setup with the again help from the different industry, and for the technology wise we have the very good collaborative work from the ISRO, because as I was mentioning, this radar is operating at 200 megahertz, and normally globally the only 50 megahertz and 400 megahertz. But our interest was basically to cover the troposphere and stratosphere. So from surface level to almost 20 kilometer height. So for this kind of frequency is best suited. So we have totally indigenously developed this setup, is operational, that is in the Nainital campus we are having. Subsequently for atom science we are also having some of the instruments, like for the first time we made the observation, we call the component NOI, like combination of all the oxides, nitrogen oxides compound. So that is being made, and the PPT level, like normally it is people have the instruments on pp parts per billion, but we are able to detect the species which are in the 10 to the power minus 12 range. So those are the some facility we are having in this campus also. Of course, our main basically mandate or the vision, I will say, is basically having the frontline research in the observational aspect, covering both astronomy and the atmospheric science. So that is our main aim. But apart from that, we also have the responsibility to train the young students so that in future they take over the things and have the basically they are at par with the international level. So we are doing that, fitting up that responsibility also. Now if you see the importance was also like some of the aspect, if you can see, like in international forum and also Indian forum, we have called the sustainable development activities. So some of the things we are also helping or contributing in that work in that direction, like particularly when you say air pollution and climate change. So how basically you can have the sustainable city. So our observation wise we are helping indirectly to have the observation of these trace gases and pollutants, where we can meet these of the goals. So some of the goals, there are some 17, 18 SDGs. So we are contributing in those national importance SDGs in almost 3 or 4 aspects. We are also, if you see the contribution on international projects, there in astronomy, there one project is TMT, we call the 30 meter telescope. Of course, the telescope is going to basically install in Hawaii. In between there was some issues, so place was not decided, but now it looks like it is almost decided. Final decision yet to be made in Hawaii. And in from India, there are 3 institutes like our ARIES, and in Bangalore IIA, in IUCA, we are basically coordinating for this TMT project. And hardware wise also there we are taking the help from different industries, like one of the L&T, they are contributing, making some of the components for this telescope, the TMT project. So that way we are also having some work on which are of the national importance. If you go historically, like some of for the first time we see in the astronomy, the observations of Uranus rings were made from the 1 meter telescope here, which was established in 1972. And then we also have some observations on the glow observation from the GRBs, gamma ray burst afterglow. So that observation also made. Now if you see in the atmospheric science, of course we say very proudly that our ST radar was developed indigenously. But apart from that, like some of the observations, like you can say the greenhouse gases, we have started our observation in 2004. Now in India, or not in India, only South Asia, we are the only one where we have the longest record of the greenhouse gases from the mountain side. And similarly for the ozone, black carbon. Now importance of the mountain side is that we call the background station. So that means like you are not having the influence from the direct pollution level. So you can say the whatever the information you are providing, that is basically not put up directly from the human activity. So we are having the net information of the background condition. So these observations also we are having the longest record. Yeah, so one thing I will say, like can see in reference of the first of India, the location of this place is very unique, and that is has very much important in the location wise, because we are in the northern part of India, and the latitude wise, if you talk in terms of the astronomy, the latitude, if you say compare from the Australia and Europe, so we are in the basically almost in the middle. So this is also covering the gap of the astronomical purpose. If you say in the atmospheric science, we are located in the Himalayan region, and the pollution level from the Indo-Gangetic plain, other plain, and also you can see outflow of the Europe or Africa, that's also influenced the Himalayan region. So our location is very nice in the sense like you can identify from where this pollution is coming. So you can have the assessment of this the long range transport we call, that is also very uniquely located. So location wise, that is one important point. Now if you see another future things, like of course the ground based observations are very good, essential, but it is also important to have this some space based platform. Of course India is having some of the instruments, but it will also very nice if we can have the observation from geostationary orbit, which is basically observations are India specific, so that we can basically extrapolate of our ground based observation of different parts of India. So that is the future I see from this region. Now we are having the two main payload, like we are having this one India's largest optical telescope 3.6. So we are taking up now two main instruments we call the HRS, high resolution spectrograph, and this is totally designed by the ARIES, and we are making it, and hopefully this will be operational. Now this is basically, as naam say, high resolution spectrograph. This is going to have the more information even on the far for galaxy, not only our galaxy, and the on different galaxies also. Apart from that, in collaboration with the TIFR, we are setting up an instrument called the TA Moon. That is also one instrument which will have the basically multi wavelength observation. So these are the basically two instruments which are going to come up, and I'll say in the 2 to 3 years these instruments will be ready. First my immediate reaction or message is like, now this is your golden period of your career. Okay, so first thing is the work very hard, and because this you are here for almost 4 to 5 years. So utilize your time and work dedicatedly for the best, or perform your best in your work wise, and also not only the research. I will also say like you have to be some considerate for your society also, and try to see what work you are doing, how you can help to society.
This podcast series on STEM popularization is supported and catalyzed by National Council of Science and Technology, Communication, Government of India. Produced by Media for Community Foundation. Technical support is given by Soumya Mishra.